Hello everyone, my name is Jun Park, and today we'll be discussing Tariffs and You, including some examples and implications that tariffs have for consumers, producers, and the broader economy. To understand tariffs, first we must understand government's roles and taxes. One of the most essential roles of any government is the ability to levy taxes. You're likely familiar with examples like income tax, sales tax, corporate tax, and local taxes. The primary reason that the government collects this revenue is to build infrastructure and provide important public services to society. So what exactly is a tariff? Simply put, a tariff is a specific type of tax imposed on goods and services that are imported from other countries. While they function like other taxes, their impact is unique to international trade. Let's look at how a market functions when there is no tax intervention. In this scenario, we see the intersection of market supply, market demand, where the price of quantity are determined in the market. When there is no tax, we see two types of benefits to the market participants: consumer surplus and producer surplus. Consumer surplus is the benefit consumers receive when the market price is lower than their willingness to pay for the good. In a similar way, producer surplus is the difference between the market price and the minimum price a seller is willing to accept. When consumer surplus and producer surplus are added together, we obtain total surplus, which is a key indicator of market efficiency. In an ideal market situation with no government intervention, total surplus is maximized. However, what happens when the government intervenes the market through a tax or tariff? This video examines tariff and their effects on the market outcomes. Typically, imposing a tariff leads to several major outcomes in the market: higher prices, lower market quantities, changes in surplus levels, and the creation of deadweight loss. Together, these effects result in what economists refers to as market inefficiency. Let's consider a practical example using the market for avocados. Do you guys like avocados? I do. Without a tariff, suppose the market price for avocados is $2 per unit and 500 units are sold in the market. The orange area in the graph represents consumer surplus, while the blue area represents producer surplus. Total surplus is the sum of the upper triangle for consumers and the lower triangle for producers, as we discussed earlier. Now, let's see what happens when the government imposes a tariff on avocados. Now the price rises to $3 and the quantity sold drops to 400. Simply speaking, when the price of the avocado increases, consumers are not going to buy as many avocados as they did before. Both consumer and producer surplus triangles shrink, and thus the total surplus decreases. This is a clear demonstration of market inefficiency due to the tariff. If we compare the before and after side by side, the impact is undeniable. The tariff creates a gap between what consumers pay and what producers receive, reducing the overall economic benefit shared by both parties. While a portion of that initial surplus is captured as government's revenue, there are missing areas, especially the small triangles on the right-hand side, that remain unexplained. This brings us to the concept of deadweight loss. What is deadweight loss then? The definition of deadweight loss is the fall, or decrease in total surplus that result from a market distortion such as a tariff or a tax. This represents lost economic activity that simply no longer exists because of a tariff. Since tariffs create this market inefficiency, they remain a primary concern for economists whenever a government chooses to intervene in the market using taxes or tariff. This is why deadweight loss is considered the true cost of a tariff. Finally, deadweight loss leads to an important question. If tariffs cause such market inefficiency, why does the government still use them? The simple answer is revenue. As we discussed earlier, governments require these funds to build infrastructure and provide public services to the society and country. Without this revenue, it would be impossible for a government to implement public policy or achieve its goals. To wrap up, let's review the key concept regarding tariff. Tariffs increase prices for consumers and also force producers to share the economic burden. Tariffs also serve as a tool for governments to collect necessary revenue for public policy. Importantly, tariffs require effective leadership to balance the needs of consumers, producers, and the global economy. The lessons we learned today are relevant across many fields, including business, finance, marketing, political science, international affairs, as well as sociology, environmental studies, laws, and other subjects. As members of society, it is essential for us to discuss these topics and share ideas to create and implement effective public policy. Thank you for watching.